So Nikao, let me ask you about native mobile advertising and what you got, where that's going, and the study you did with ComScore, and some takeaways.
Sure. So what's very interesting about native video advertising on mobile is that this is the fastest growing video format in mobile today. And the reason why is because publishers are looking for new innovative ways to monetize their content feeds. And a lot of publishers, if you've noticed yourself, have shifted the way their format is displayed on devices to mimic that of the social platforms. The social platforms like Facebook, like Twitter, like Instagram were the first to market with content that was feed-based, very intuitive and an organic way to consume content inside of your mobile device. And as a result, a lot of the non-social platform publishers, mainstream publishers in the entertainment, sports, news, music, etc. Categories are now bringing their content and shifting their formats to feed-based formats as well. Now therein lies the challenge. Once you create this new format, how do you monetize that feed-based format effectively? And video is one of the strongest ways to monetize your inventory as a publisher, and video is the best way to reach and engage with the consumer as an advertiser. And with those two forces meeting, that's where we felt that native in-feed video advertising would be a very key important area for us in 2015 and even moving forward in 2016, not as a single product, but as a complement to the rest of the full screen video inventory and rich media display inventory that Opera has today on its platform. So that's kind of the background behind how we got into native video advertising and spawned the genesis of what eventually is that was just recently released as our study with ComScore about the effectiveness of native video ads.
So tell us a little bit about what that media asset looks like, what those ads look like.
Yeah, so the native in-feed video ad is an autoplay video that fits within the feed of the content of the publisher. Now what's interesting is not all native video ad technology is created equal. One of the biggest challenges with using traditional video technology for native in-feed video is that when the user scrolls the ad into view, the ad doesn't have enough time to load. It doesn't have enough time to play. So the user may just see a buffering signal. We've all seen that before for the ad to load. And what happens oftentimes is the user just scrolls right past that ad placement. There's no impression recorded for the advertiser, no money generated by the publisher. It's a lost opportunity to reach the user. What we've done is we've developed a technology that solves that problem, that instantly places a video ad, solving the issues and challenges of latency within the feed. So as soon as the user scrolls the video ad onto screen, a video instantly plays, attracting their attention and enabling the advertiser to reach the user and the publisher to monetize that user with a well-targeted, well-displayed video ad.
And one last question on the creative side of those units. What are you seeing? What's the range of use cases, and what's working, and can native advertising really scale?
That's a great question. And one of the key things we found out with our study, the results spoke for themselves. First of all, with the native video ad study that we did with ComScore, we hypothesized that native video ads would do a great job of driving upper funnel metrics like brand awareness, brand recall, which they did. But what was really surprising for us was that lower funnel metrics were also driven to significantly outperform mobile norms and to drive significant lift. And so in dovetailing that, we realized that the campaigns that ran in our study, which outperformed the highest and that delivered the most significant lift, were campaigns that actually followed best practices that you were kind of alluding to from a creative standpoint. And we have 4 or 5 key creative best practices that are data-driven from our analysis that we recommend to all of our advertisers running native video ads. And they're such as this. Number 1, you have to hook the user in the first 2 to 3 seconds with your video creative. So as soon as that video ad is ready to play, you can't have a long 30-second narrative story arc that you would see normally on TV spots or even on online spots. Number 2 is you need to utilize quick cuts and close-ups of your product views. That's the way to pique the user's attention that you've hooked already. Number 3, use large text callouts and calls to action. Oftentimes what we found is that when you're consuming content within the feed as a user, your audio is off. Volume is off because you don't want to disturb the people around you. You may be in class, you may be in a meeting at work, So typically, consuming in-feed content is done with the audio off. And so you have to leverage large text callouts and calls to action to drive engagement. And the last piece is typically going to be don't rely on audio. All right, it kind of goes back into that fourth piece, which is make sound secondary. Sight and motion are the primary heroes with native video ad creative. Sound is still important, but don't overly rely on sound in order to deliver your value proposition to the end consumer. So those are the 5 key best practices, 4 or 5 key best practices that we've outlined and we've discovered and shared with our partners. And from a scalability standpoint, just going to your second part of your question, if you're able to develop your creative leveraging these best practices for native, you can take these principles and apply them to full screen pre-roll video even. And as long as you can nail and engage the user in a native video environment, the same effectiveness and engagement can be delivered in full screen. Because quite frankly, it's the most challenging environment to reach a user, which is native video, because of the way the user scrolls through. So you have to develop those thumb-stopping moments with your video creative by following the best practices and utilizing the right technology, which is what Opera brings to the table, and the right publishing environment, which is what Opera brings to the table as well.